Ladies and gentlemen, here come the trials updates. I have not read this yet. I'm about to read it with you. This went live literally a second ago here. So by the time you're watching it, it's been out for an hour or so, maybe two. But let's read the trials part of it together, and then let's kind of give my thoughts on it. So, Trials of Osiris rework coming out. Moves Trials away from a flawless-based system to a get 7 wins on a card system that rewards win streaks with multiple tiers and exclusive aesthetic rewards for higher win streaks. Provides a selectable alternative experience that is close to Iron Banner in terms of reward structure and matchmaking to get more players into the Trials ecosystem. Adding new rewards including an armor set, ghost shell, ship sparrow, and emblem. Simplify engagement and matchmaking systems. And then we got competitive stuff, we got player reorganization stuff, we got all kinds of stuff going on, but I'm going to specifically focus on Trials. All right, Trials of Osiris, let's dig in, baby. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Trials of Osiris has several problems we are looking to solve with this rework. Primarily, Trials is perceived as simply not fun or rewarding for average to below average players. In terms of rewards, there has been a lack of new aesthetic rewards, especially motivational ones for high-skilled players, and our weapon rewards have not consistently been best in class. The game mode itself is not always fun to play at a high stress level. While we have made strides to address this with 8.1.5.3 weapon tuning and the 8.2.0 ability tuning mentioned above, we are also making some minor changes to the Dominion game mode to improve the experience. Finally, we want to solve the issue where fireteam-based matchmaking can make it too difficult to play with friends, but we need to do this in a way that does not sacrifice the enjoyment of our solo players who make up most of the population. The solution we landed on needed a bit of extra time in the oven, but it's currently going to come out in Act 2. Okay, so whatever happens with fireteam-based matchmaking happens in Act 2. Trials of Osiris rework. To solve the above problems for the rework on launch on February 14th, so week 2 of the new episode, February 14th is the Friday, we have improved the rewards story by stepping away from requiring flawless to earn the lion's share of rewards. Instead, we'll focus on rewarding all players while giving exclusive aesthetic rewards to those who demonstrate the highest skill. Simplified how players engage with trials, and streamlined the matchmaking states to make it more obvious how you're being matched with opponents. And we have improved the game mode rules to encourage a focus on fighting first and zone control second, while still directing players to points of conflict around the map and encouraging aggressive play over passivity. At the core of this rework is one mantra. We want to build a game mode that more people can enjoy with rewards on par with endgame PvE activities. Experiences. We're moving to offer a handful of different experiences within Trials, so players can choose in which way they want to participate. To help simplify that process, we have reduced the number of passages available to players from St. 14 to 2, one for each initial experience. The Lighthouse Passage. This is one of the two options. Let's first talk about the Lighthouse Passage, which grants access to the fabled simulation on Mercury. This experience is like what players currently get when they are playing on a Mercy, Ferocity, or Persistence card, but our goal is to move Trials away from a flawless or bust-based system to a get 7 wins on card plus longest win streak system. Lighthouse for everyone, but better rewards for longer win streaks. At the end of all this, I'm going to talk about everything, kind of my takeaways as well as my thoughts. But for now, let's try to just read through it all and get to thoughts afterwards. This will utilize open skill matchmaking, the Lighthouse Passage. All you need to do is win 7 games on a Lighthouse Passage and you will earn entrance to the Lighthouse, regardless of how many losses are on the card. You can lose endlessly. Just get to 7, go to the Lighthouse. The Lighthouse chest rewards are now broken up into 2 types. Repeatable rewards you can earn every time you complete a Lighthouse Passage and open the chest, as well as weekly win streak rewards from 1 to 7 wins in a row, which can be earned once per week and must be true win streaks. There are no mercies. Note, earning a higher tier weekly win streak reward will grant all the lower tier weekly win streak rewards as well. So if you get 7 wins, you'll get the reward that you get for 1 win, 2 wins in a row, 3 wins in a row. If you get 7 in a row, you get all of it at once. So the repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards. Earned on every lighthouse visit until a flawless passage is earned. So flawless is still a thing. Enhancement prisms, 1 or 2 of them. A base trials weapon, 1 of them. A trials armor piece, 1 of them. The ciphers, 3 of them. An ascendant shard chance, 45%. An adept trials weapon chance. So let's see what the breakdown is in a second. You'll have 2 chances to earn adept trials weapons with each lighthouse visit. The chances for a drop are dependent on your highest weekly win streak and the number of wins completed as a full fire team. So they're trying to get you to be a team of 3 because that will influence your adept chances. These chances are not additive. They are separate, meaning if you win 7 games and as a trio and get a 3 win streak, you will get 2 adepts from the lighthouse chest. If you win 1 game as a trio and get a 1 win streak, you'll have a 15% chance and a 30% chance. So you can still get 2. Okay, interesting. Weekly win streaks. The chance is based on the longest win streak you have earned this week, not the longest win streak on your current passage. So if you have 1 win, you'll have a 30% chance of an adept. 2 wins, 60%. If you have ever achieved a 3 win streak or more, you'll get a 100% chance of getting an adept. Wins as a trio. This chance is based on how many of your wins on the way to the lighthouse were done as a full fire team. If all 7 were done as a full fire team, you are guaranteed at least 1 adept regardless of your longest win streak. So even if you only win 1 at a time, if you get to 7 as a team of 3, full fire team, you will 100% get an adept. So that's so different from now where you have to go flawless to get an adept. Now, just get up to 7 as a team of 3. They're really trying to influence you to use Fire Team Finder, to join your friends off of LFGs. They really want you to be a team of 3. If you get to 7 wins, regardless of how many losses as a team of 3, you 100% get a adept. And if you happen to get 3 or more wins on that journey in a row, 3 or more wins in a row on that journey, you'll get 2 adepts. And even if you just get 1, you'll still have a 30% chance to get 2 adepts. This is cool. Weekly win streak rewards. All right, so reward packages for each win streak milestone can be claimed once per week and are in addition to the repeatable lighthouse chest rewards. Note, earning a higher tier win streak reward will also grant all lower tier ones. 1 win streak. So if you win just 1 game on your journey to getting to 7, which you have to at least get on a 1 streak, you'll get enhancement cores, 3 to 5 of them. Enhancement prisms, 1 of them. A shard, you get a guaranteed shard. Wow. Adept mod, a ghost shell, 50 progress points. This system will be explained in the reward section below. Okay, so you get progress points. Hardened by Trials emblem. So you get a new emblem if you manage to get to the lighthouse. So you have to get 7 wins. But if you only win 1 time. So if you get to lighthouse at all, you'll get all these things. If you happen to win 2 in a row, you'll also get 2 ciphers. Happen to win 3 in a row, you will get 2 more ciphers and Trials armor. Win 4 in a row, get 2 more ciphers and a bunch of enhancement cores. Win 5 in a row and you get a bunch of stuff. My goodness. So your goal is to really win 5 in a row. You'll get yellow Trials glow, another cipher, another weapon, a Trials memento, a vehicle, 3 progress points towards it, 100 progress points towards a shell. You'll get a new Trials shader, knockout list 1 per week. Is it a new shader every week then? I'm not sure what that means yet. You'll get flawless emblems. So maybe flawless is 5? First time only if not already earned. Oh no, these are old emblems. So you get all these old emblems if you get to 5 win streaks. Okay. 6 win streak, you get a white Trials glow. You get more enhancement prisms. So 7 is flawless. 7 win streak is flawless. You get a red glow, you get an adept weapon, another base weapon unlocks the new flawless passage. Enables progress on the new stat tracker for flawless win streak. So the completed lighthouse passage. So this is, I'm assuming, we'll get into it, but I'm assuming that that's this. All right, so after you've earned access to the lighthouse, or your passage will change to a completed lighthouse passage. After you earn access to the lighthouse, regardless if you're flawless or not. Get to 7 wins, your passage will change to a completed lighthouse passage. Utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone in your fire team is on a completed lighthouse, flawless, or trials passage. We'll be experimenting with using weekly performance to allow us to match mixed skill fire teams that exclusively play together based off their cumulative performance for the week instead of off of individual skill. Utilizes open skill if anyone in your fire team is on a lighthouse passage. So if anybody does not have a completed card, then you will still be completely utilizing open skill rather than performance based. Let's keep reading and see if we learn more, and then I'll get into thoughts afterwards. This experience is like what players currently get when they are playing on a flawed card after having visited the lighthouse. Players who continue to play on a completed lighthouse passage will get extra rewards on wins based on their highest weekly win streak and described below. All right, so if you still have not earned all the weekly win streak rewards, you can reset your lighthouse passage and try it again. So if you get to 6 wins in a row and then lose and then still go to lighthouse, because you haven't yet gotten to 7, you haven't earned all the weekly rewards, you can still reset your lighthouse passage, therefore utilizing open skill and not performance based, and try again. It sounds like if you get to 7 though, you won't be able to. Additional rewards for longer win streaks. As mentioned, players who've gone to the lighthouse and continue to play on a completed lighthouse passage will get additional rewards for their highest weekly win streak. Higher win streaks can increase your drop chances compared to lower ones, or allow chances to gain additional exclusive rewards. We're also experimenting with a mini jackpot reward for materials, which are a small additional chance to earn double or triple rewards. Here is a look at how your chances for these additional rewards increase with your win streak. Here, look at it. I'm not going to go through that. You look at it. Have fun. Pause the video if you need to. The flawless passage. Players who have earned all 7 weekly win streaks rewards, so players who have gotten a true flawless, will be rewarded a flawless passage, and all the repeatable lighthouse chest rewards will be folded into their post-win drop chances, alongside higher chances to earn cosmetics, as well as the new Trials emblem. So the new Trials emblem you're not going to be able to get unless you have a flawless passage and continue to play. Think of the Scarab emblem from Destiny 1, but maybe even more intense. This will also allow players to progress the flawless win streak stat tracker, which tracks the longest win streak earned while playing on a flawless passage. This experience is most comparable to players resetting their cards and going for additional flawless runs, with the focus now on longest continuous win streak instead of multiple separate lighthouse runs. One wrinkle is that earning those long win streaks may be slightly more challenging than it has been in the past, because if you have a flawless passage, that means you're going to be using performance matchmaking. So this utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone on your fire team is on a completed lighthouse, flawless, or trials passage. Because we expect there to be very few players who can actually earn this passage, it works on a hybrid system where we'll spend only a short period of time looking for other similar players before reverting back to open skill, so that way it does not increase matchmaking times or reduce connection quality. Utilizes open skill if anybody in your fire team is on a lighthouse passage. So if you have not completed your passage, you're still going to be in open skill. So I'll give you an example. Me and Gold Eagle have a flawless passage, but we're doing carries and we pull from chat, and you have a brand new lighthouse passage. We are still going to be utilizing open skill. We're not going to be performance, so we're going to be able to still do carries, even if Gold and I already have ourselves a completed card, and it's flawless, and we can't reset it because it's gotten our 7 win streak. We can't reset it. If anybody on our fire team does not have a completed card, then we will go to open skill. So carries are still very much possible, but if you wanted to really go crazy and maybe to Fizzle, Gold, and I are playing together and all 3 of us have flawless passages, we can chase things like this new Trials emblem, but we're going to be utilizing performance-based matchmaking. However, like this says, you're only utilizing it for a bit before they're like, okay, it's been a minute, we're not finding a team, let's just go throw them back into open skill. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. Earning the flawless passage weekly will be the only thing that increments the new flawless lighthouse passages stat tracker. The previous tracker flawless tickets has been locked, will no longer increase, but can still be displayed on emblems. Isn't it lovely that I have exactly 5,000 flawlesses? Because what this is saying is that that number will never go up again. Nobody will ever be able to catch my 5,000 flawlesses. Nobody will ever get even close to it. And that number that you end, I think we have one more trials week before the new episode. Whatever you end with, whatever flawless count you have will be your permanent flawless ticket count forever. There's now a new concept of flawless that's winning 7 in a row with no mercies. I think it's called True Flawless. That is the new thing, and we're really tracking, I guess, flawless win streak is the new thing that people are going to be tracking. So flawless count is a thing of the past, and I have this beautiful thing of exactly 5,000 on mine. That feels really good. The Trials of Osiris passage. All right. We want to provide a separate place in Trials that is more like Iron Banner in terms of rewards and matchmaking to get additional players into the ecosystem. If you were asking why we want to make any part of Trials more like Iron Banner, here's why. Iron Banner averages more than 3 times the daily participation of Trials. In the last 48 months, 4 years, Trials has had more than 20% daily participation only 18 times, which is actually the exact same number of days that Iron Banner has had less than 20%. In fact, the worst performing Iron Banner we had during this period still had almost identical participation to the best performing Trials over that same period. Compared to Iron Banner, players who are not able to consistently go flawless find Trials to be unapproachable due to both the lack of rewards and how unfair many of the games feel with randomized matchmaking and lobby balancing. For a mode that needs a high population to thrive, this is problematic. Because many average and below average skilled players do not participate in the current version of Trials at all due to the perception that flawless is impossible and the experience will be negative, this leads to a baseline skill creep that on average makes Trials 10 to 15% harder than normal PvP and perpetuates this cycle. This experience builds off the practice pool, which despite the lower population total, has helped keep average and below average players' participation in Trials over the last several months 20% higher than the similar low point from before the 2021 rework. Utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everybody in your fire team is on a completed Lighthouse, Flawless, or Trials passage. So this is similar to before. It's like if you have this Trials passage or a completed card or a Flawless card, you're in performance base. So the base level of this card puts you in performance base. So if you're a 0.6 and you want to play other 0.6s, you grab this. You won't get to go to the Lighthouse, but it's kind of like Iron Banner. Winning doesn't really matter as much, and you're going to be playing people around your skill. This passage allows players to take advantage of the improvements of the base reward structure of Trials that we will detail below. Increased rep, rewards for wins and losses, challenges, earning ghost shells, etc. With a matchmaking system that is fairer, lower stakes, and none of the stress of worrying about a loss negating progress. We still want to motivate trying to win, so the Osiris passage, Trials of Osiris passage provides a healthy reputation bonus per win, depending on your current rank with same 4 team. Playing on this passage will give you access to the following rewards. Wins will grant you reputation, base reputation plus the Trials rep, chance for an engram, chance for the base Trials weapon, small amount of progress towards the Trials ghost shell from the knockout list. Losses will still grant you reputation 10 times more than what is currently given for losses. 10 times more, my goodness. As well as a chance for a Trials weapon. So win or lose, you'll still have a chance for a Trials weapon. You get additive extras. Playing in a full fire team, win or loss, will give you bonus reps. So being a team of 3, they really want you to be a team of 3, and they're really incentivizing going in as a team of 3. It'll give you bonus rep, a chance for base Trials weapon, as well as a chance for an engram. So more stuff, just more stuff, win or loss if you're a team of 3. Playing with a clanmate grants win or loss more bonus reps, so they want you to play with clanmates too. Challenges, rewards. Okay, challenges, rewards, pinnacles plus Trials, armor pieces, winning 50 rounds, winning 7 games. Okay, so you've still got cool pinnacles to chase too. Rewards. Now that we've talked about the Trials experience and how it'll be updated, let's go over the specific rewards that Trials of Osiris will offer and talk about some changes to the way that they are granted. New armor. Armor pieces will not be able to be earned from engrams until they have been unlocked, either via challenge or from the Lighthouse chest rewards. We're getting a look at some armor here. You're also seeing, I assume, the Sparrow and the ship here. Nice. The drip of Osiris. Feel free to pause the video if you want to, but you're getting the Hunter. You're getting the emblem, the Sparrow, the ship, the Warlock, the Titan. Feel free to pause. New cosmetics are earned on a point system. Various actions give you points such as completing challenges, winning games, or opening the Lighthouse chest. Your chance of getting a cosmetic from these actions increases exponentially as your total points increase. If you hit the upper limit of points in one of the pools, so 1,000 points, you are guaranteed a cosmetic from that pool. Earning any cosmetic from the pool resets your points. Cosmetics are divided up into vehicles, ships, and sparrows, which are exclusive to players who earn high win streaks, and ghost shells, which all players can earn. But it is faster if you go to the lighthouse and get higher win streaks. In this episode that I just will never pronounce because I don't know how to say it because I've never watched a video where they actually say it, so I just don't want to say it, we will be introducing a new ship and sparrow along with the new ghost shell. All the existing Trials of Osiris vehicles will be in one pool, and all the Trials of Osiris ghost shells will be in the second. These are knockout lists, meaning you cannot get duplicates from either pool. So if you play enough, you will eventually earn them all. The new Trials emblem, Lighthouse Keeper, will also be earned this way, exclusively for players who get their upper win streaks. Let's get some water while we look at this thing. So that's like the new Scarab emblem, I guess. New weapons. Ooh. To start the episode, we'll bring back an old favorite in Exalted Truth. With some great new perks, we've also introduced a new sniper rifle, Keen Thistle, which is designed to give Macabre-like feels, a run for its money in Crucible, and has at least one wild perk combo for PvE too. Triple tap plus 4th times. May catch your eye, but after the recent sniper buffs, don't sleep on Discord plus Incandescent. Keen Thistle can have Lone Wolf closing time. That's all I was looking for. Here are the perks it can have. Feel free to pause if you want to. There's the Exalted Truth. Here are the perks it can have. Feel free to pause if you want to. We'll also be adding a third weapon to this group later in the episode as part of a late season refresh. The Inquisitor. I love that shotgun. Lone Wolf, closing time. If you want to look for other perks, feel free to pause. Going along with this, we've increased the Osirian ciphers cap from 10 to 30. We've also removed the requirement to earn the adept weapon each week it is available, and it is now only needs to be earned once, then can be focused in subsequent weeks when it is the featured weapon. Cool. Pinnacle challenges. The Pinnacle challenge remains unchanged. Challenges remain unchanged in terms of how they are completed, but they now grant a piece of Trials armor in addition to the Pinnacle gear. So win 50 rounds, Trials challenge, get Pinnacle gear, Trials armor, Trials ghost shell progress. Win 7 games, get a Pinnacle gear, get Trials armor. Reputation. We have increased the amount of rep that you gain on losses by 10x and added a new bonus that is earned by playing in a fire team with clanmates. Base win is up, base loss, clan bonus, trio bonus, base rewards. I might have some of this be a little bit faster. I don't need to read through every individual number, but again, I'm scrolling slow enough that if you wanted to pause on this video and get a look for yourself, at any point you can. We've added a new set of base rewards for wins and losses that will be added to the existing trio's completion rewards, but for players in any fire team. We've added a new set of base rewards for wins and losses. Okay. So the base win's better, the base loss is better, and you can get weapons and stuff. Trio win loss, it's all better. So if you're a trio, win or lose, your odds are better, basically. Dominion quality of life changes. While the sandbox changes outlined above represent the bulk of our work towards making Trials gameplay a more enjoyable experience, we're also making some changes to the game mode itself. We want to encourage players to engage in combat first, with the zone being utilized more as a focal point and to break stalemates and less to win rounds quickly outright. Okay. Zones now spawn in 40 seconds instead of 30. Zone cap takes 20 seconds instead of 15. Neutral special ammo takes 30 seconds instead of 20. Okay. I guess I'll get into how I feel about that later. Fire team-based matchmaking. We would, of course, be remiss if we did not mention fire team-based matchmaking. Before we explain the changes we're going to make in Act 2, we want to provide you with some background to why we cannot remove it. Statistically, FTMM has kept solo players playing much more frequently than the old freelance weekend system did. If we were to remove FTMM and revert to freelance weekends, it would not increase the number of trios or improve their experience. It would just decrease the number of solos playing most weeks. Below is an example of how the population split worked before FTMM. Trio players did not increase when freelance went away, but solo players did decrease dramatically. Most solo players only played during freelance weekends, on average less than 25% of them, stuck around during non-freelance weekends. A graph you can pause and look at if you want. I'm going to scroll past. Instead, Starting in Act 2, we will, so again, not Act 1, we will allow duos to match trios right off the bat in both trials and comp. This will continue to allow duos to play our 3v3 playlist without making it feel like an advantage that they can avoid trios. We have not enabled this in past because for the solo player that gets brought into the match to fill the duo's team, it feels like a bad experience to see a trio on the other side. We also understand that filling out duo games with solo players often makes it feel like a lottery to see who gets the better team. Amen to that, dude. To help with this friction, we will be setting it up so that any solo player that gets matched against a larger fire team in either trials or comp will be granted loss forgiveness for that match, on the condition they do not quit, go AFK, or intentionally throw the game. Doing any of these actions will result in a loss and potentially a matchmaking restriction. We believe this change will have the effect of encouraging more players to play as full fire teams at will, while also improving the experience of solo players who get matched with fire teams in these modes. It will. That's huge. If you're a solo and you match with duos, you get loss protected. Because sometimes there's a duo that's a 2.5 and a 2.5, and the other duo is a 0.4 and a 0.3, and no matter what, you'll lose if you end up on their team. No matter what. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you get stuck with the worst team in a duo when you're a solo, you sometimes lose, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that sucks. So this is huge, because it means that if you're a solo and you match duos, it doesn't really matter. If you get stuck with the worst team, you'll lose, but it doesn't count. If you get the better team, you'll still get a dub. That's huge. That used to be so frustrating as a solo player. Skill and rework and player score stat. In this episode, we have undertaken the task of updating our internal skill rating and an additional new visual indicator in players to measure performance. Hold on. Is this done? Are we kind of done with trials? We might be kind of done with trials. Okay, we're kind of done with trials. So, hey, I'm going to make sure that there is a link to this in the description of this video, this article, so you can go read it if you haven't read it yet. But I'm going to scroll up now. I am specifically focused on trials. I wanted to read through all the trials stuff, and then I wanted to scroll back and kind of skim it again and give my thoughts and takes on all of it. So we have hit that point now. We're kind of done talking about the trials changes. Let's scroll back up and kind of talk about what my take is on all this. As somebody who's played more trials than anybody and has been playing trials since 2015, I'm excited to kind of break this down a little bit. So let's figure out where we're going to start here. The lighthouse passage. So let's start with this. There's now 2 passages instead of a bunch of passages, which I think is good to simplify the process. Utilizing open skill, of course, is very good, but let's try to find the first change, really. I love this new loot concept, just to be super transparent. Get to 7 wins, go to the lighthouse. Good. I want more people to experience the lighthouse. I've been doing trials carries forever. Getting people to the lighthouse is something that has been really exciting for me. I love that everyone's going to get to go. Get to 7 wins. Lose 80 times on your way to 7 wins. Doesn't matter. Get to 7 wins with a lighthouse passage. Go to the lighthouse. And win streaks add more loot that you'll be getting at the lighthouse. And there's some RNG if you haven't won 3 straight games to whether you'll get an adept. So you're not guaranteed an adept at the lighthouse, but win 3 games in a row and you are. I love all that. I think that is super, super fun and exciting. I think that there is still going to be a need for trials carries. People are still going to want to get a true flawless 7 straight. People are going to want to get to 5 straight wins because the 5 straight wins stuff has a ton of loot. So there's still going to be a need for carries. People are still going to want to try to get certain win streaks, but just get to 7 wins in total on a lighthouse passage. Open the lighthouse chest, have chances for all kinds of stuff, get guaranteed loot no matter what. And if you happen to get a 2 streak or a 3 streak or a 4 streak during that, you're going to get even better loot. I love it. I don't see a downside to it. I think a lot of people have been gatekeepy about the lighthouse and about adept weapons, and they want it to be like no, you have to earn it. If you don't earn it, you don't deserve to have this stuff. I've never been like that. Why not let more people experience the lighthouse? Why not let more people chase adept weapons? I think this will get more people into the playlist. And I think the number one goal for trials should be to get more people into the playlist. And everything I've seen so far feels like that's what these trials changes are doing. They're trying to get more people into the playlist. And I think it's going to be successful. Too little, too late? I don't know. The player population is pretty low. The hype around Destiny 2 as a whole, a lot lower than it used to be. So yeah, it would have been amazing to see all this 4 years ago, right? But better late than never. And I do think that for the active players in Destiny 2, this is a really good way to incentivize getting into trials, because you can pick up 2 passages. Passage 1, you're going to go to the lighthouse if you get to 7 wins. Passage 2, you won't get to go to lighthouse, but you're just getting trials loot. And it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. You're just getting trials loot. So if you really hate the idea of matching players who might be better and you just want to play people of your skill level and just get some loot, the other passage will get you in there. But if you want to just go for a lighthouse run, you don't have to win a bunch in a row. You can just win one in a row at a time, over and over and over, and you'll get there eventually. And I think that's going to encourage people to want to play. There's not really that much on the line now, right? There used to be so much on the line. If you got to 6 wins and you only had 1 mercy left, you were nervous, you were scared, you went into that 7th game. You don't have that anymore. You get to 6 wins on your card, there's no fear about game 7. Lose 10 times, doesn't matter. Get your 7th win, you'll get to go. I think that's fantastic. I also really like just everything about this win streak concept, because it means there is still something on the line. Because if you win 1, you want to get that 2nd win to get more ciphers. If you win 2, now you hope you can get that 3rd win so you can get trials armor. If you win 4, you're like, oh my God, I really hope I can get to 5 wins. And then somewhere down here, we also saw that idea of like, if you get additional streaks, like if you get certain streaks, your percentage of getting an adept goes up too. So I think that's great as well. Trying to see if there's like a big area I'm missing. I'm really bad. I don't do these Asdacross type readings. So I'm not good at this. This is not my skill reading these. So I get tired reading out loud. So I'm mentally kind of gone right now. So that's why I'm just like skimming instead of rereading everything. So I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. All content creators, just like all of you in any other aspect of life, we all have our skills and we all have our weaknesses. Reading out loud is a weakness of mine. Reading comprehension is a weakness of mine. That's why I let other content creators do this type of work usually, and don't do it myself. But this being completely a trials-based thing, this felt like I needed to do this. Even though I'm on a month off, I'm home, I wanted to dive into this article as soon as I had the opportunity. So I think we've pretty much skimmed this stuff and given our takes on this, but there's still more stuff to be read. And there's more stuff to give our opinions about, including this concept of completed lighthouse passage. I feel like they worded this really well. This idea of utilizing weekly performance if you have a completed card, it feels very similar to how the flawless pool used to feel. But my take reading this on the first time through is that it's not actually going to be very problematic. And there's a few reasons why. 1, they're only going to be utilizing this performance-based for a bit. They don't really seem to think that very many people are going to get to an actual flawless passage, right? Well, actually, let me backtrack. If you have a completed lighthouse passage at all, and you're going for extra loot, you're using performance-based matchmaking. But you can reset it and just go. And like if you get to 6 wins, you don't get to 7, you can reset it. And if you reset it, you're using open skill, which is just basically no performance matchmaking of any kind. Once you get to a flawless passage, 7 straight wins, you can't reset. You're locked. You are locked into that. However, you are not using performance matchmaking if you have anybody on your team without a completed passage, so carries, or if you're running stacked and you have one of your third doesn't have a flawless yet, then you're not using performance-based. But also, you're not using performance-based if you matchmake for like a little bit of time, it gives up after a little bit of time. It just defaults back to open skill because they don't want to sacrifice your connection. They don't want to sacrifice the matchmaking time. So they're only going to a little bit queue you if you are in a full fire team of a completed passage for a bit using performance. So I'm not really that worried about it. As a solo player, if you have a flawless passage, aka a completed passage, then you might be matching against better players who also have a completed passage, performance-based. However, only for a bit. And I don't think there's going to be that many people who actually successfully get to 7 in a row. So I'm not too worried about it. Off the rip, you read performance-based, it's scary because performance-based means sort of a lack of replayability. Think of the flawless pool back in the day. Teams that went flawless-based, they mostly just stopped playing on Sunday and Monday. Which people who weren't flawless, maybe you thought that was good. But overall, when your main goal is to increase the player population in trials, having replayability lessened means you are lessening the player base. It's just not a good thing in general. You don't want something that lessens the player base. And performance-based matchmaking sometimes means, think about to Fizzle. He's a 3.5 KD or whatever. If he's only matching 3.5 KDs, After a couple hours, he's going to get tired. It's exhausting matching super players nonstop. You're going to get tired. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to probably stop playing. So people who are locked into performance-based matchmaking are going to just fizzle out over time. So I'm glad that while they have this still, I like the idea. I like that you can be on a full team of flawless passages, really chasing for that new emblem, but you're going to be matching other good players. I like that it's only sort of strict. They're going to only utilize it if the full fire team has it. They're going to only utilize it for a bit in matchmaking and give up if they can't find a match quickly. I'm not worried about it. I think it's done well. I'm excited for it. And you get additional rewards for longer streaks. So there are benefits to playing as a super stack team and trying to get even higher streaks, including that emblem is now going to track your flawless win streak, your highest win streak. That is going to be the new thing to go after, which means that people are probably going to be on full teams going after it. I can already see some workarounds where like you always want to have one person who isn't on a full card, so that way you can have a better chance of getting a higher streak. But I think all of this is very good so far. I like it. I'm trying to see what else I am missing. I like the Trials of Osiris passage. Iron Banner type feel. Allow 0.3s to... Why is it still highlighted? How do I unhighlight this? What is happening? Allow 0.3s to play other 0.3s. Let them get their experience in Trials without getting stomped. Let them not care too much about wins and losses. Maybe over time they improve, and eventually they move to the other passage. Not the completed one, but just a Lighthouse passage. I like this idea. I think that they are allowing, with both passages... and completed passages versus not completed passages and win streaks versus just trying to get to 7. They are allowing for every type of player. The 0.3s, the 1.0s, the 3.0s, and everyone in between. I see reason for every player to want to try Trials and be excited by trying Trials. Flawless passage utilizes weekly performance. We know that. Yeah. I like this breakdown about Trials versus Iron Banner. They're trying to get more people into it. I think that's it, dudes. I think that's it. Realistically, I don't think they missed in any way here. I think that every single one of these changes is beneficial. Except, hold on. Forgot to look at Dominion. Okay. And I like the new weapons coming. Those sound exciting. Here's one thing I will say. I don't know if I love this. Dominion, in my opinion, a lot of people don't like it and think Trials should be elimination only. I will tell you that I think elimination only was a much worse game mode. Trials, in my eyes, is still elimination. 95% of my rounds are won by eliminating the other team. It's very rare that zones are actually the driving force for my round wins in Trials. It's still elimination. Zones just serve as a way to force the round to actually play out. In the past, when there were 2-minute long rounds and no zones, you would have people hiding with like shotguns or bastions and fusions, not wanting to play. And you, pushing them, put yourself at a disadvantage because you would just walk into their lane and they would fusion you. So what would happen is you'd just be forced to play out these 2-minute long rounds. Dominion requires that to change. It makes it so players sitting in the back of the map have to at least move up a little bit in order to have a chance to win. It's still elimination. Dominion just forces you to not sit in the back and have long stalemates. So I love Dominion. I'm not sure I love Dominion getting delayed a little bit. I guess I'm not sure I hate it either, though. Like 10 seconds delay on everything is not much. Zone caps take 20 seconds. So basically, it will be a minute long round, even if the team caps, because it takes 40 seconds to spawn and then 20 seconds to cap. A minute long round, still a long round. So I'm not sure I love it. I kind of think I was happy with how it worked before. But I guess this is a happy medium. If you couldn't stand zones and thought it was dumb, this will make you happier. But if you hated the elimination and thought you needed a reason to push, this still makes you happy. So I guess it's a happy medium. I don't see this change as necessary. So I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it either. I love zones. I don't mind 30 seconds for it to spawn, 15 seconds for it to cap. But I guess I don't hate 40 and 20 either. Anyway, regardless, I love these changes. We're making Trials more rewarding. We're giving a new emblem to chase if you get a flawless card and go for win streaks. That's going to be hard to get. That emblem is going to be pretty exclusive, I think, and people are going to want it. We're making it so players, whether they're really good, really bad, or anywhere in between, have loot to chase and incentive to play. We're bringing out weapons that seem pretty strong with good perks, so people are going to want them. We're also bringing them out for PvE. There's going to be good sniper combos for PvE, so PvE and PvP players are going to want to chase loot in Trials. I like it all, is really the breakdown here. I'm very grateful for Bungie for doing all this. I'm excited to see how this changes the Trials playlist. I think that the loss protection that's going to happen for solos when they match against duos will make it so solos are going to be way happier playing. I think that duos getting forced to match against trios will be great because duos has kind of always been that workaround. I played duos a ton to try to get my flawless count up over the last few months. Duos is that workaround where you don't have to match against trios because that trio playlist is so terrible. At least it used to be that you could just play a duo. Plays a duo stack and it was so much easier. This will kind of make it so duo stacks have to reconsider and either go and just play solo or grab a third player and play as a trio. Duos matching trios is going to be so cool. And that solo still gets loss protected. So I love that change. I don't know any duo who liked duos. A lot of people played duos because it was the right thing to do. It was the easier way to go flawless. But almost everybody I talked to wished duos wasn't a thing. This will kind of make it so duos gets pushed away a bit. So I love that. Very excited about that. I'm not in the right area to talk about that, but I'm just talking about the changes as a whole. I also love how much they're incentivizing playing as a team of 3. Trials was always a 3v3 playlist. While it's fun to play as a solo, and they're not disincentivizing you playing as a solo, they are instead incentivizing playing as a team of 3 in so many ways. I think the trios playlist is going to be better. I think you're going to have duos matching into trios, which will make it better as a trio. I think you're going to have more people going into trios, which will make it more populated and better as a trio. Overall, I just see nothing but benefits here for the playlist as a whole. The loot's better. It's easier to get. The reputation system is a little confusing at first, but it's going to be good, it seems. While some people might be scared away by performance-based matchmaking, it's pretty easy to avoid, and it's not going to be that strict. I just think overall, everything is good. I'm excited. Anyway, February 14th is when this takes place. I'll be live on Twitch doing trials carries a ton that first weekend, so please make sure to come by the stream, twitch.tv/GernaderJake. I'll be back streaming on Twitch on February 4th. I'd love it if you came to the channel on February 4th, but February 14th is when this trials change goes live, and we are going to stream so many hours. That Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it comes out. Whew! We're going to stream so many hours. I'm excited for it. Cool. Good changes, Bungie. I love it all. First time reading through it like this, and I am just so excited. I may have known about most of these changes since back in September, and I've been NDA'd. So thank goodness we can finally talk about it. And hey, trials flawless counts locked 5,000. Forever locked in stone. That is so cool. I will forever be the #1 flawless player because that number is locked. That's kind of cool. Little pat on my own back. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Let me know in the comments what your takeaway from all this is. What are your favorite things they're bringing out? Are there any things that you're kind of nervous about? Anything I missed? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading through them. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you on Twitch, hopefully February 4th, and then in Trials, February 14th. Later.